Hello and welcome. Welcome to Everything is Energy and welcome to the new moon in Scorpio, which is exact on either November 19th, it's exact at 10:47 p.m. Pacific time, but depending on where you are in the world, it might also be taking place early in the morning on November 20th. This is an exceptional chart for a new moon. I keep saying I've never seen things like this before, and I'm gonna say it again. This chart, I'm gonna actually put this chart on my blog post so that you can have a look at all the aspects that I'm talking about. Every single planet is making flowing aspects with one another. There's nobody in the sky that's left out. There's lots of good vibes. There's a little bit of opposition. The sun and the moon are at the anaretic degree of Scorpio. So this is definitely a time of mystery, truths beneath the surface. Scorpio is fixed feminine water. Scorpio's ruled by Pluto. Scorpio's passionate. But Scorpio's about the truths beneath the surface. And since it's ruled by Pluto, it's about karma. And when we think about the meaning of the anaretic degree, the 28th and 29th degree means that there's some shadow side of things that are going to be revealed. And now let's go ahead and get to this chart. We have a grand trine in water, and that is the sun and the moon and Mercury are very tightly conjunct at 29 degrees of Scorpio. We have Saturn conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces and Jupiter at 25 degrees of Cancer. And so this is a grand water trine because all of the planets are trining with each other. And a water trine is just, it offers this sort of deeply intuitive, emotionally rich, spiritually receptive energy. And at the 29th degree, this trine has a karmic culminating, but also a sort of a destiny activation quality about it. And some of the themes that this trine is presenting us with, Saturn and Neptune and Pisces trine a Scorpio stellium, this is going to offer up the energy for us to navigate emotional depths without drowning. There's this kind of profound blend of structure from Saturn and transcendence from Neptune with the psychic insight of Scorpio. There's also the potential for transformational forms of communication with the sun, moon, and Mercury in together in a stellium in late Scorpio. That our voices, our authenticity, our self-expression, our emotional intelligence is naturally going to be with this new moon and throughout this lunar cycle. Remember, this is the beginning of a lunar cycle. This is a seed planting time. This is going to be supporting us in our inner truth, but also in doing some healing if there's any shadows that need to be healed, if there's any revelations of who we really are. And I would offer that part of the beauty of Scorpio is not afraid to dive deep because Scorpio knows the value of everything. And this trine gives the capacity to articulate deep truths that liberate both ourselves and the world around us. There's also sort of built-in protection and benevolent expansion here because Jupiter in Cancer is going to slightly soften Scorpio's intensity. It's going to give that emotional intelligence and compassion is the word that's coming through. You know, Cancer is a strong, nurturing archetype in general, and Jupiter is acting as a moral compass, helping us amplify our intuition, and offering both this kind of good fortune along with ancestral support. And it's important to note that all this stuff is happening around the anaretic degrees of these signs. And this is very likely pointing to a soul completion or an evolutionary chapter of our lives, both an ending and a beginning. And so there's going to be these opportunities for spiritual lessons, mastery of our intuition, mastery of our emotional state. Our emotional state, if we think about it, is our compass for where we are on our soul's path. And if we remember anything during this new moon and during this lunar cycle, is that we are divine. We are beings of light and love, and we're here for a reason. We're here to uplift. There's also this sense with this grand trine at the anaretic degrees of this water sign that there's a culmination of karmic cycles. Karmic cycles, ancestral cycles, collective cycles. And if you've ever had the opportunity to meet an ancestral cycle or meet a heavy energy with healing, there's this sort of there's part of the karma is there's spiritual gifts that come from doing the sort of work of Chiron, of doing that apprenticeship work, of being present in the process of transformation. It's being in this process that readies our soul to step into the role that we're here for, the leadership role, the healing role, the teaching role. So this is definitely old soul water magic time for this new moon and for this entire lunar cycle. And it's worth noting that we have this grand trine. We also have three minor triangles that I'll get to in a second, but we also again have a kite coming through. And when the grand trine becomes a kite, that happens through an opposition. And this opposition is with the sun and moon and Mercury that are conjunct at 29 degrees of Scorpio. It's going to be directly opposed to Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. And this is the engine of this astrology chart for this new moon. Uranus is injecting this electricity, this awakening, this innovation, this idea of sudden liberation into an otherwise fluid and graceful trine. And so there's might be around this new moon, but definitely throughout this lunar cycle, some of the themes are going to be about breakthroughs, breakthroughs through truth telling, breakthroughs through authenticity, breakthroughs for being deeply present, breakthroughs for being intuitively and emotionally tapped in and turned on. And Uranus opposite a Scorpio stellium is going to invite us to speak our truths, however unconventional they may be, and to challenge any stagnant emotional or stagnant societal structures. Uranus is going to bring this energy of disruption. And I've spoke about that with the astrology forecast for this particular week. Disruption, Uranus is a planet of transformation. Uranus knows that there must be something old being broken down in order for something new to come through. And another theme with this kite is I mentioned radical authenticity. Uranus kind of is going to demand of the Scorpio planets that there is no hiding beneath the surface, that the soul's path, our soul's path is liberation through revealing what is true for us, that there's no more time for us to pretend that we're something that we're not. And there's this liberation through really accepting ourselves and authentically being ourselves. And it's also worth noting doesn't have to be scary because we still have this grand water trine that's going to give us this sense of flow and ease. But this water trine is interacting with Uranus, and Uranus is going to inject that electrification, maybe even a little bit of friction. But this friction is actually creative pressure. It's evolutionary pressure. It says use your spiritual gifts to almost shock the system in a healing way. And there's also a time with this opposition with Uranus at the anaretic degree of Taurus. This is suggesting higher mind downloads, spontaneous insights, maybe even intuitive leaps or some kind of sense of channeling the way that we know what is to be true. And all the planets in Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, are going to be potentially receiving messages from the quantum field. And so the overall meaning of this kite in this chart is that there's this direct flow of the grand trine's gifts into something impactful for not just ourselves, but for the world. This is an innovative time. This is a time of healing. This is a time of spiritual awakening and disruption. Disruption for releasing what no longer serves. And there's again this old soul wisdom, this sense of being here for a reason, remembering why we're here and who we're here to be and why we're here to be. And now I want to touch briefly on these three minor triangles. I've talked about one of them for quite some time. That's the one between Pluto and Uranus and Neptune and Saturn. That's been operational for quite some time. It's going to continue to be operational definitely throughout the end of this year because those planets are just moving very slowly. And that's really, as I've mentioned before, there's this sense of the cosmic elders. A minor triangle isn't just a minor thing. It's actually, I would offer, and I've offered in the past, more potent than a grand trine. It's subtle energy. Subtle energy, it's trining and sextiling planets so that they really can all flow and coordinate energetics together. And if the outer planets are the subtle energy of the elders that's really powerfully molding where we're headed collectively, it makes perfect sense that they're all sitting around a table communing with each other. The other minor triangle we have is between Uranus, Neptune and Saturn, and Jupiter. And that's a newer aspect. And that's again this sort of flowing energy. And so now we've got Jupiter in the mix. Jupiter in the emotionally intelligent sign of Cancer. And I've already touched on those downloads from our emotional intelligence. And the final and third minor triangle is between Uranus, no, not Uranus, Neptune and Saturn, Pluto, as well as the stellium of planets in Scorpio, as well as the sun, the moon, and Mercury. And I forgot to mention, we also have Lilith as a part of that stellium. And if we really think about what Lilith is adding to this mix, it's that our shadow side has a place. And we're going to be invited to love ourselves and own everything about us that's true and realize that everything about ourselves is a perfect sort of tapestry of energy for why we're here and for the wisdom that we hold. And so that's three minor triangles, and that this chart is not done, folks. We also have a mystic rectangle. I really encourage you to go have a look at this chart. It's just so instructive to see how everything's lighting up, everything's communicating. And if we think about the theme of the analytic degrees of Scorpio, we're at the tail end of Scorpio season. We are the catalyst, we are the change, we are the powerful creators of the future. And so this mystic rectangle, I'll get into it next. We have the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and I'm going to add Lilith again here. They're sextiling Pluto, and Pluto is also trining Uranus. Uranus is sextiling Jupiter. Jupiter's trining the Sun and the Moon and Mercury. So all these planets are creating this wonderful, harmonious rectangle. And there's, the mystic rectile blends the harmony of the trines, the opportunity of the sextiles, but there's also some tension because there are two oppositions in this chart. And if we learn anything about this chart, that there's these flows of energy and then there's these oppositions, but the oppositions are the as I mentioned, like the engine of the thing. They're pointing us, they're just really letting us see, look there, go heal there, go uncover what that truth is, feel into for yourself what might be your inner truth. And so some of the themes of this mystic rectangle is about practical manifestation, spiritual insight. And so, the rectile is going to ground the transcendent waters of the grand trine that I was mentioning. And it's going to really help us visualize and create actual tangible change. And so this is a very fortunate aspect of this chart. And with Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius, this is next era consciousness. I've talked about this a lot. This is instead of the top-down power structures, this is circular power structures. This is new paradigms, future timelines, co-creation, collective co-creation and evolution. And if we think about what, the sextile, Pluto sextiling the Scorpio stellium, this is going to activate these ideas of intuition, reading energy, maybe even downloads, wisdom downloads from past lives, mediumship downloads from being able to see the energetic truth of what's happening. And the theme here is still transformation through communication because Mercury is lighting up with the new and full moon. And Lilith is there to remind us that even our shadow is there for a reason. And so when we also consider some of the theme of this triangle with Uranus trining Pluto, this is revolutionary energy. And this is revolutionary energy with a very long timeline. So there's this future-oriented, visionary aspect of this new moon, and yet it's deeply transformative and it feels very palpable now, even though it's both prescient now in this new moon, and we can see that it's going to start to stoke the fires of change for these are generational things that are happening. And as I've mentioned before, never before in the history of humanity do we have a record of all these outer planets changing signs right now. So this is really a slow, tectonic, creative, not creative destruction, creative transformation. And if we finally also think about Jupiter sextiling Uranus in this mystic rectangle, that's the signature of sudden opportunities, intuitive leaps. And as I was mentioning, Uranus is liberation, liberation through cosmic serendipity, liberation through lightning bolts of energetic insight. So there's this really potential for coming online of our intuitive abilities, of our ability to read and work with energy. And so, we're going to be invited to really start to plant those seeds for what we really want to see in this next year. We're going to be invited to take those visions and start to create the structures that support the healing that the world needs. We're going to be invited to get high frequency downloads and be the vessel that can stabilize those downloads and transmit those downloads. There's this sense of kind of harmonizing both personal transformation with this new moon along with our purpose in collective evolution. And so I just really hope that you can feel the power of these times, the magic of these times, that this new moon, however deeply secretive and transformational and electric and disruptive it is so right on time. And with that, I think let's go ahead and get to a meditation. Well, actually, before we do the meditation, I want to do a quick plug for a free 4-week Lunar Herbal Alchemy event that I'm offering. It begins Saturday, November 22nd, and runs Saturdays through December 13th at 12 noon Pacific time. And it's the Lunar Herbal Alchemy Circle. And I'm going to be offering some insights for you to create a winter kitchen apothecary. We're also going to be talking about astrological insights for the end of this year. And we're going to be learning and actually practicing techniques to clear energy and to manifest in the new year to come. So if you're not on my email list, that's how I'm going to be sending out the Zoom links and keeping everybody up to date. Go ahead and make sure that you check the notes for this podcast and sign up to be on my email list. Okay, now let's get to a meditation. Go ahead and begin by finding a comfortable position, a place where you can close your eyes and either sit with a straight spine or lie with a straight spine. And let your spine be long. Reach up to the top of the head, release your tailbone down. And wherever you are, whether you're seated or lying, feel your body fully supported. Allow your hands to rest softly with your palms open. And let your breath flow naturally in through the nose and out the mouth without effort. And next, take a nice, slow breath in through the nose. Maybe deepen the breath just a little bit. And then a gentle, unhurried exhale through your mouth. Just simply coming into the presence of this moment, bringing your awareness here, bringing your consciousness, all of your energy into this moment. And with your next breath, breathing in through the nose, imagine a soft sphere of light forming around you, releasing through the mouth. The inhale is just the opportunity to bring more and more of your consciousness here and now. And the exhale is, as always, the opportunity to let go. Anything that doesn't serve. And as you're just gently breathing, imagine this soft sphere of light forming around you, encompassing your aura. And it's a shimmering field of deep blue, violet light, and pearl white. And as you're coming to connect with the energies of these colors, this is the elemental field of water. Water is the realm of intuition, memory, and truth. And as you feel the sphere all around you and infusing itself into you, feel yourself safe. Feel yourself held, both in softness as well as in deep emotional clarity. And just simply being with this light, this deep blue light, this violet light, and this purple white, pearl white light. And imagine there's these ribbons of colors that are both flowing through you and around you. And now imagine 3 points of light within you, one at your third eye, one at your sacral center, and one at your heart. And these points of light are activating your third eye, your sacral center, and your heart. And imagine that as these aspects of yourself are lighting up, this deep blue, violet, and pearl white light is soothing you as you are awakening, as your heart is opening, your creative aspects are coming online. And your third eye and throat, third eye especially, but the throat is right near there, are opening up to be able to see and express things more clearly than ever before. It's as if there's this perfect flow of energy moving without resistance between these centers of your body. Breathe into these spaces. Breathe into your third eye. Breathe into your heart. Breathe into your sacral center. And imagine that this energy that's flowing all around you and flowing through you and activating these centers, there's no resistance. It's just lighting you up, activating you in a way that's both gentle and wise and ancient. And as you sit here, just being with this energy, breathing with this energy, allow it to remind you that you've been here before. You've done this activation work before, and you're actually returning to what your soul already knows. And just a little bit more time here, being with your heart, being with your sacral center, being with your third eye, and experiencing yourself enveloped and imbued in this violet, indigo blue, and pearl white light. And now bring your awareness to the space just behind your sternum. This is this place where intuition and emotion meet. This is the space between your heart, between your third eye. And in that space, see a small flame there. That flame, very much scorpionic, holds your truth, holds your inner voice, holds your deepest knowing. The space where intuition and emotion meet is also close to the throat chakra. It's about expression, but it's about expression above and beyond and through words. And so now you're focused on this flame. And as your consciousness focuses on this flame, with every breath, this flame is expanding. It's activating your throat. It's moving behind your eyes to connect with your third eye. It's moving all the way up into your crown. And it's also moving down to connect with the open channel of your heart. And now imagine all of these chakras from the heart upward are being activated by the light that always burns within you, for the light that is the truth of your soul. And allow this light to open these channels within you, and also to dissolve any fear of your own depth, of your own truth, of your own acceptance of how beautiful and powerful you really are. Let this light remind you that your truth is your power. That what you speak, that your voice carries magical energy. It's as if your words are your spell being spoken out into the world. And that your vision, your insight, what you understand energetically, that is your medicine. That is the gift that you bring to this moment on our planet and in our universe. And now, as you're still basking in this beautiful deep blue, indigo, violet, and pearl white light, imagine behind you, there's a bright electric point of light behind your back, just slightly above your shoulders. And if you've ever done any energetic work, a lightning bolt of energy is both an activation and a protection. It's very much a Uranian energy, but it's about a flash of awakening. Lightning bolts are catalysts and they are liberators. And now imagine that your heart flame that is still beaming inside your chest is connecting to this lightning bolt behind you. And it's as if your heart knows the power of you in this evolutionary moment on our planet. And as you feel comfortable, allow that lightning bolt to activate you. Imagine with every inhale, you're drawing this gentle electricity up your spine. Not overwhelming, just a nice hum of energy, a clearing, an activation, a remembering. And with every exhale, you're sending that energy down your spine. And imagine anything that's not serving can just go into the earth. Breathing in, draw the energy up your spine as if it's an activation, a wake up, a clearing and a remembering. And as you exhale, let that lightning bolt flow down your spine and just allowing anything known or unknown to be released. And just breathing, staying in your heart, being enveloped by this deep indigo blue, violet, and pearl white light, and experiencing this lightning bolt activation. And feel the whisper of this energy inside you. And you can repeat after me, or you can just receive the truth of these words. I am ready to evolve. I'm ready to awaken to the truth that I've always been carrying. And I release old energies and structures that no longer support my becoming. And just stay with that breath. Again, inhaling, let that energy flow up your spine, activating you. Exhaling, let it flow down your spine, cleansing you. And start to feel as if you've got this sanctuary, this gateway, this portal during this new moon. Feel how powerful you are. Feel how beautiful you are. There's that light that's coming from activating your heart as well as your throat and your third eye and your crown. That is your truth. And now start to consider the seeds that you will be planting during this lunar cycle, during this new moon, and how powerful those seeds, the powerful impact they'll have on you, on those you love, on everything around you. And maybe energetically, you want to spend a little bit of time right now just calling those intentions to mind. Or maybe just simply basking in this energy and in this truth of who you are. Feel how powerful this energy is, but also feel how aligned it is. And with this, we're going to start to bring this meditation to a close, but I'm going to invite you to speak these words aloud if you can, or receive them within you. I am aligned. I am supported. I am guided. I am becoming who I truly am. And as we're slowly going to prepare to come back into the space where you've practiced this meditation, I invite you to maybe place one hand on your heart and one set of fingertips right on your third eye and feel the sacredness of this activation. Feel the wisdom of your truth. And you can imagine that that orb of light that surrounded you, that indigo blue, violet, pearl white light, is just gently condensing into a little point of light, and then it melts away into nothingness. And that lightning bolt that's behind you is also just merging into the ethers. And then there you are, your beautiful physical vessel and your energetic vessel. If you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers, you can open your eyes, and feel and experience how powerful and energetic and magnetic you are. And prepare to take this wisdom with you, not just into your day to day, but throughout this lunar cycle. As always, I will post some notes in my blog. I'm starting a 4-week free lunar herbal alchemy sequence on the 22nd of this month. If you're not on my email list, I'll put a link for you to join. I'd love, love, love to have you join me. Have a blessed new moon, bright blessings, and so much love.